Hi again, everybody. Today we are going to learn about transitive and intransitive verbs. So I'm guessing for a lot of people here, it's been a long time since you've been in grammar class. So a transitive verb is a verb that has a direct object. What that means is that the verb actually does something to the object of the sentence. So for example, if I said, I returned the book, return would be the verb in that sentence, and book would be the direct object. It receives the action of being returned. And an intransitive verb has no direct object. So, for example, if I said I returned home, that would be an intransitive verb. Home is not the direct object in that sentence. I did not literally return my home somewhere else. I returned to the home. Now, in English, the same verb can often be transitive or intransitive depending on the context. Like the example I just gave, the word return can be transitive or intransitive depending on how it's used. But generally, in Japanese, we actually use different verbs. We might have one verb that's transitive and then a companion verb that's intransitive. So, for example, a word we've already introduced, kaeru, to return, is intransitive. But the word kaesu, also to return, is transitive. This would mean to return an object. So if I said, uchi e kaerimashita, that would mean I returned home. But if I said, hon o kaeshimashita, that would mean I returned the book. So here is a list of transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. For every transitive verb, there's a companion intransitive verb and vice versa. Now you'll notice I've actually included the kanji for these words rather than writing them just in hiragana. And the reason I've done that is to show you that for most of these words, not all of them, but most of them, even if they're pronounced somewhat differently, they oftentimes use the same kanji. So take a moment just to look over this list. I'm actually not going to go through it and read it. I want you to just look over it yourself. And when you feel ready, we are going to move on to just looking at some sentences to see how these words are used. So let's look at some sentences. If I said, Boku no yubi wa o otoshita, that would mean I dropped my ring. But if I said, Boku wa ochita, that would mean I fell down. The word yubi means finger and yubiwa means ring. If I said Tobira o akemashita, that would mean I opened the door. If I said Tobira wa akimashita, that would mean the door opened. If I said Tobira o shimemashita, that would mean I closed the door. But if I said Tobira wa shimarimashita, that would mean the door closed. If I said Boku no kotae o keshita, that would mean I erased my answer. If I said Denki ga kieta, that would mean the electricity went out. The word kotae means answer, and kotaeru means to answer. The word denki means electricity. Now, before we continue on to our practice, we're going to look at a few more vocabulary words. Ofuro means bath or bathtub. Heya means room. Disuku means disc. Takai means tall or high. Seiga takai means tall, but this is used specifically to talk about tall people. Mijikai means short. Kotoshi means this year. Kyonen means last year. Rainen means next year. Otera means temple. And jinja means shrine, specifically a Shinto shrine. So now we're going to use what we've learned today to make some sentences. Our first sentence is, please enter the room, and we are going to use our formal form for this one. Heya ni haitte kudasai. Our next sentence is, I turned on the computer and put in the disk, and this is going to be informal. Computer o tsukete, disku o ireta. I want to build tall buildings, and this will be formal. Watashi wa takai tatemono o tatetai desu. This temple was built last year, and this will be informal. Kono otera wa kyonen tatta. All right, that is all for today's lesson. Now, before we end, I just want to let you know something about the next lessons going forward. So you'll notice that I have started including the hiragana text for each of the Japanese words and sentences that I write, as well as the romaji, or the English writing. However, starting in the next lesson, I am going to start writing sentences and Japanese words in hiragana and katakana only. And then I will include with that sentences that include the kanji for each word. Um, because of that, I recommend that if you have not looked into the hiragana and katakana lessons that I've put up yet, that you do so going forward, because it's going to be pretty hard to follow along otherwise. Now, anything I write in English, any explanations, anything like that, those will still be in English, but all of the Japanese writing is actually going to be presented in hiragana and katakana moving forward. So, just thought I should let you know. Ja, mata.